Trimming today? Yeah, I had an hour before this morning and up until now I was at work. And then I have an hour before I have to go to work again. So I was like, well, you know what? Instead of being a lazy bones and clean my house like a normal person, I'm just going to trim. Because I just want to get this trimming done this week I just want to finish these by sometime this weekend. So they gotta get done. They gotta get done. Zoom? Okay. Yesterday this tool broke, so I'm really sad about that. I think I'm gonna buy another one too. I think I am cruising. Hello from Venezuela. Hello. I actually have some family that lives in South America. But they don't live in Venezuela. They live in I think they live in Argentina. They are orchid farmers. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Bottom here, we're like, okay, this bottom we can put a little mark there. We can bring that in a little bit. It's pretty even throughout, so we'll bring our foot all the way to there, and our depth on their foot we can go about as deep as the base is, because it's pretty flat on the base. I'll take these little soft chunks off. Ready to step one, we're just bringing in that side till we made that mark. Once we bring that in, bring that base down, we can use this tool. You see how I'm not going like this with this tool, not hard? I'm just bringing it straight down. Good evening. Is that what that means? Boa notte? Good evening. trim this top edge off. And we go right down to the middle. And we're just saying hello. The interior. The interiors are always a little bit more difficult to work, right? We found our depth. We walked out to the side. I like to use this side of the tool, right? Use this side here. And I'll walk this right down. And usually when I'm trying to get these sides, I'll spin the wheel just a little bit slower. And we're getting kind of close. We're going to pop this up off the wheel one more time. So this is going to be the third time we popped it up off the wheel, right? So when I'm trimming all these different sized objects, I really want to make sure I'm feeling the clay, right? I'm feeling where's that thickness, where's the balance, the center of gravity in the object, and I'm trying to work with it on the fly. So don't be afraid to just lift up the object and check it out, right? You're going to get better at feeling, right, if you actually feel the clay. I think a lot of times people just kind of guess, and they say, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, right, instead of checking. And then they trim through where it's really thick, and then they feel unsatisfied, right? Say like, okay, I think this is good, and then test it, right? Because then you'll really start to feel like if your gut feeling is true. Okay, right on the side here. Slow that wheel down. I think we like what's going on here. This one, it seems just a little boring though on the foot, right? So we're gonna add some little moments on the bottom here. I'm gonna say, okay, we have this kind of nice little spiral. So let's grab a needle tool. I'll be back in 1 second. Some marks. And right on the foot, just to add a little bit of something there, right? Okay. So there you go. I gotta take that little crumb off there. So just to have something that has like so many different little things of texture, but look at that little ribbon there, and then I have that translate on the rim, right? So that way it doesn't feel like it's trimmed, right? Sometimes the foot looks so different than the rest of the object. So maybe put some of those patterns in the rest of the object into the foot. This one is gonna suck to trim. Usually I would use something like a chuck to trim this, right? Because it's so narrow on the top, hitting any pressure here is gonna cause this to want to collapse, right? So, but we'll try our best. So you see I'm letting it spin, and then I'm gonna have it suction to the wheel head here. Since there's so much water right down at the base, we're going to get rid of some of that water at that base. So then when we add our clay on the base here, it can really stick to the wheel head and the object. So I'm doing two things. I'm sticking the piece to the wheel using a suction hold, and then I'm using really soft clay to both hold the piece and the wheel head. And when you're trimming like this, you know, chances are it's gonna not want to stay centered, right? So always removing little bits of material at first so you can get everything even is gonna help you out, right? Just gotta be ready because any second it could pop off center there, and we gotta get ready to catch the piece. Oh, did you hear it kind of stick for a second there? Okay. Now I would say, right now I can't fit my hand on the inside of this vessel, because the neck is too narrow for me to put my fingers inside of, right? And so right now, I'm just kind of guessing that you're doing the thing I was telling you not to do a second ago on the last piece. But I feel like I know myself pretty well, where I pit thickness. So I'm feeling pretty confident I can get it close enough where it needs to be. Sorry, that was really loud, guys. My bad. See how it's kind of moving as I'm trimming? So this is telling me that the base is kind of coming off, right? just want to make sure I'm just taking off just enough that I feel the tool pulling but not yanking away from me. It's probably a little bit hard to hear my voice. Just because I don't have my normal microphone on right now. I usually have the chest mounted microphone. And right now I just have my loose mic on, aiming towards the wheel. Say we're getting pretty close. All right. I think I'm gonna call this one done. I probably could trim a little bit more, make it a little bit more even, but I'm thinking about it and I'm just like, well, this isn't really a drinking vessel. So to me, I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't really need it to be so light, as long as it just kind of looks nice and is trimmed a little bit, right? So there you go, you got your little vessel here. Something that I'm going to do just to clean up this top rim a little bit, so I'll set it right down. I'm just going to hover this sponge over that rim just a tad. I'll take my finger and smooth that out just a little bit, right? I'm trying not to put any tension. You can see how it's not centered, right? I don't need it centered. I just need to smooth out that clay on the top. I can pick that up, and I would say this is done. Sweet. Yeah. 3 spots. Use this for the whole. Let's see. We have 30 more minutes before I have to go drive to work, so I think we could probably get two more, or 3 more done, depending on how this goes. CJ says, I love how you treat each and every pot as worthy of the very best trimming. Well, as much as I despise trimming, if I'm going to trim, I really want to make sure that I'm not just like doing it half-assed, right? Where I had a guy, he was my teacher, and he's actually he's a nice guy, right? He took me out to dinner one time. He's just a really good dude. And he said to me, he's from Nigeria, and he studied in Europe, so he had this like Nigerian European accent, which was like one of a kind, but he would go, Noah, what is worth doing is worth doing well. And I was like, oh shoot, that's some good wisdom. You know, so if I'm gonna trim, I gotta try to trim well, you know, even though I hate it. What is worth doing is worth doing well. And then he also, one of my favorite, we have a recording of him, and he was like roasting one of my friends. His name was Ogun Sanwo, right? That's the teacher's name, Ogun Sanwo. He says, did you even read the book?
It's literally the funniest book ever, or the funniest video ever, because my buddy goes, and the video just cuts off. But yeah, Ogun Sanwo, he's a good dude.
I think this is okay. Oh, that was bad. We're not going to use that tool. We'll use this tool. I miss my old tool. I feel like my old tool would have been the perfect tool for this moment. Today I met a person that has green hair, and my first thought when I was talking to them was like, dang, it'd be so funny if they were on my green screen, because then their hair would be green screened out. I really like the weight of this object. Okay. There we go, guys. Bottom area here. Hold on. Close in. Close in. There we go. So I'm feeling this bottom area here, and I'm like, okay, where's my finger? My finger is right about here. So I'm going to go right below it. I'm going to make a mark, right? I'm going to say I'm going to bring that in up to probably there. And then I'm going to bring the foot in. You know, we're going to actually have the foot be a little bit wider on this one. So we'll probably need to smooth that out a little bit. And then where does it stop being? We can bring the thickness up to here. We can't go past the little undulation moments though, right? If we go too far up, then we're going to be knocking into that, and then we're going to create some thin spots. So this one's a little bit trickier to trim, but it should be okay. Again, perfect. Have I missed it? Missed what? What did you miss? Right on the top. You're totally happy now. This is perfect. When you get happy, thank you. I'm glad you're happy. So you see how whenever I cut things off the wheel when I'm doing off the hump throwing, the bases are always a little bit uneven, right? So you have to spend that first couple tries getting this even first, and you can see it's not perfectly even. There's still a little bit of an undulation on that top edge, right? But it's even enough that when you put water in it and then you set it right side up, it's just gonna, and this is soft enough, it just sits right flat, right? So I just get it close enough, and it's usually okay. Smooth out. Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Is buongiorno, is that Italian? Buongiorno. Arrivederci. Andiamo, andiamo. I think buongiorno is Italian. Do I still have my other wheel set up? No, my other wheel is getting fixed currently, so I still don't have that other wheel. Alright. I'm actually going to trim a little bit more down right away. We can go a little bit deeper on this foot. But yeah, my other wheel is still being fixed to get rid of that huge annoying whining sound that it was making. And then what I'll do is I'll probably make larger stuff that needs to stay on the wheel on that, and I'll probably trim on that wheel, so then I can kind of keep all the trimmings in one spot. And then maybe I'll trim on stream every once in a while, but I still don't want to get in the habit of trimming on stream. I think trimming still gets a thumbs down from me. Thumbs down trimming. Throwing though? Throwing is freaking epic. W throw. Trimming. F in the chat for trimming. We're getting rid of trimming. We hate it. Actually, don't F in the chat for trimming. Trimming doesn't get an F. There's no respects to be paid to trimming. Trimming gets an L. I love seeing how you use fingernails to mark, or fingernails to mark, fingernail marks, oh my goodness, to judge the trimming. Never saw that before. Yeah, I'm a visual guy, so I like to see what's going on, right? So if I can see that I got rid of those visually, then I know that I'm in the right spot, or it tells me exactly when I need to stop. But everybody is going to find a different way that works for them. Some people don't like the nails because it's like you're sort of doing a little bit of guessing. I think it helps me because I think have a good judge of where my hand is on the inside compared to the outside. Some people struggle. Some people use tacks, right? They'll like pin tacks, like a little needle, and they cut it to the thickness that they want the piece to be. And they stab them through their vessels from the inside, so then you have a little peg sticking out. And then you trim down until you start hitting that peg. And so that's like a physical way, not a visual way, to let you know that you need to stop trimming. You know, so there's a lot of different ways that people do that. My broken tool. I think I'll go and get another one of these tools. I like them that much. That's so sad. I don't want to spend money though. Is it worth it? don't know. Maybe. Alright. I like this little vessel here. You see how this kind of flares out a little bit? That way it makes the foot feel like it's a little bit bigger than what it actually is, you know? Okay. Look at this one. This one's really screwed up, right? Look how uneven I cut this off the bottom. Nightmare fuel, right? So let's get into it. Mark all the way down to there. I'm just doing one. I'm not even gonna worry about the top right now. I just need to get this even first. See if that stayed, because sometimes, yeah, it's not even. Okay, but regardless, we still want to just see, it's a lot more even right now. It's not perfect, but it is a lot more even. Okay. So now we're going to recenter it, and now it should be a lot easier to move. I kind of screwed up that top. Okay. Slowly walk down, right? I'm never like following the contour of the vessel. Like I'm always cutting through. Do you see how there's like this little stair step here? And I'm just slowly bringing that down. And look how pretty this is. Doesn't that just look gorgeous? Sometimes I love these little pieces. I once had a couple ideas what to do with those, but none of them have really been realized totally yet. I'm trying to do it in a way that doesn't feel like too cheesy or apparent of what it is from, right? I like there kind of being a little bit of distance, even for people who know the process. I like there to be a little mystery for even those people, so... I actually wish I would have made this foot a little bit more narrow. I feel like I almost want it to look like it was on its tiptoes, but right now it's going to look pretty balanced. I think this is a balanced foot for the vessel, right? But sometimes I like to play with that balance a little bit. If I was to bring this in just a little bit more, if you see it at the right angle, it might even look like this is so wide that you might not even see the foot, so it almost looks like it's hovering when it's on the table, right? That's something I like about feet, is that they can kind of lift the object away from the display object, which could be a table, a pedestal, whatever, you know, a cupboard shelf. Sometimes it's nice to have some distance away from that, so then the piece can literally just kind of talk by itself, right? Doesn't have to be too, what's the word, oversaturated by its surroundings. Okay. Bring this in a little bit more here. This down. Still pretty heavy on the bottom, okay? We're feeling the clay. We actually have, you see how I have this like as a sharp angle? On the inside, it's actually curved, and it starts curving right about here. And even though we kind of like the idea of it being like the sharp edge, that's not what is informing us what the interior vessel looks like, right? Does that sort of make sense? The interior vessel is what you should be striving to reveal. When you're trimming, think of it as like you're a paleontologist or an archaeologist looking for relics or bones, right? You're trying to unveil the surface, or unveil the vessel. And so the vessel's already there, so you think about trimming as like you're bringing the vessel out, right? And so even though we want it to be flat, and we want it to be like a geometric shape there, you know, that means the next time we know that we need to do a better job, right? If we want that, right? So always do your objects justice. Don't force the object to be the way that you want it to be. Allow the object to manifest on its own, you know? lift it up too at the end a little bit. Alright, I gotta redo the bottom. It's catching on one side. Just feel it while it's already up. Perfect. Oh, I could bring it down a little bit more, actually. I really like this piece. Did you guys see how I could have brought that in just a little bit more? I feel like that would have made this piece really, really nice. Okay. And I think I gotta get out of here soon, Thomas. I think this might be the last one. This will be the last piece for today. How many more do I have left to trim? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24, 30. Like 45. Do I really have 45? Man, my count was way off. I thought I only made 40, but I think I made like maybe like I made 70 cups this time around. Yeah, like 40 more to do. Such a bummer. But it's okay. I think we have one more month of doing these cups, and then I think I'll have enough. And then we can... I don't even know what I'm going to do after. We'll see. Maybe I just keep making cups for a little bit. I kind of am liking the process. I'll still do water whistles and like vases every once in a while, and the hand-built things, so I'll be making whistles too. about a cup that whistles?
Oh, I can do that too. I did want to make a double-walled whistle cup, where you blow on the rim, and then the rim, the vessel whistles. Okie dokie.
I think this looks okay, guys. Wink. Look at that. Do you guys see, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, look at that, the base, right? So, you'd have to be looking at it almost like this, at that angle, to be able to see that it doesn't have a vessel, right? So you got to be standing pretty high above it, right? But the best is when you bring this out and you bring that foot in close enough, right? And you don't have as much lift here, right? You can literally hide the foot underneath of there, right? And so I really think that this cup was a little bit of a fail, because when I first made the foot, I just made it too wide. I should have really have brought that in a little bit more. Also push that. Yeah. Alright. Anyway, guys. I hope that, like, when I talk about, like, my opinion on the objects, like, hopefully it helps you guys understand, like, my thought process on some of the making behind a vessel. Or, like, I always think that you need to find a way, or you need to find a like almost like a methodology of making to, like, go back to, right? So I just can't accept the idea that, you know, whatever you make is art and whatever you make is good, right? Like, you want to be able to make bad things. If everything you make is good, then I feel like you're not really making anything, really, you know? Like, you need to have the bad stuff. You need to have, like, a strong opinion in your own practice, right? Whether or not you let that seep into how you view work outside of your own practice, that's fine. But when you're within your practice, you got to be a little bit of a drill sergeant to yourself, right? And so developing those ideas, I'm telling you, it's only going to help you out in the long run. And with that, guys, I got to head off here. I got to go to work again. All right. Peace out, guys. Bye.